welcome to In the Spirit of Things, and yeah, it's been a hectic day. Anyways, folks, glad you could join. We always have covering some exciting stuff and moving forward on different levels. Anyways, yeah, everybody gets wanting to come in through the front door on me when I'm trying to get my mind right. Anyways, folks, we're glad you're here tonight. Yep, we're going to move forward on a different level. Matter of fact, and for those covering another issue of the day, it's called, matter of fact, I'm going to wait to get into that, but it's called Slavery by Consent, folks, and I'm going to cover that in a little bit. But it's a 2-hour video, and it's posted over on our site. Folks, if you haven't ever watched Slavery by Consent, you really want to pull back the Iron Curtain to the world of infamy on what's really going on in your world, you're going to have to go watch this 2-hour video. So that's going to be part of the new curriculum. So since everybody's had a problem with heavy lifting and reading my documents that I've already posted over at the curriculum page, I've decided to go visual a little bit more. But folks, this is where you get some meat, potatoes, and the content of stuff you're not supposed to know, stuff they don't teach you in history class, your teachers don't want you to, they won't share with you. Higher education definitely won't cover it. It's like I say, they just rather keep us blinded by the light, so to speak, in operating in false capacities and not knowing who we are. So, folks, this is going to be a beautiful thing. If you go watch this 2-hour video, it's going to blow your brakes off, and it's a must-watch en masse. Ironically, it was put out, I think, last August 2012, which I had a chance to see it then, and it was incredible then. It's even just as incredible now. I got to rewatch it again today. Folks, it ties up the loose ends. So if you're bounded up and wondering why what's going on is going on and how you're asking for permission to do everything in your life and who died and left them king, well, folks, sort of we did, but we didn't know. So we didn't know to peel back the layers of the onion and find out that it was rotten to the core. But, hey, folks, things are coming out at the speed of sound all over the world. It's really, really beautiful. You got your oppt getting things really rolling. Matter of fact, somebody told me they had 1 million listeners on their call last night. So it sounds like maybe we're getting a little gravitational pull. Maybe people are starting to wake up, and that's where we need to be. Folks, it's some crazy stuff going on in the world. You look all around you, and where black is white, white is black, everything's upside down. Create division, create disharmony, keep us arguing about the mundane, like peanut butter versus jelly or whatever. Just Mickey Mouse stuff. It's always the stuff that binds us up. We're giving our energy to negative crap that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. And folks, that's just not. That's going to bind you up. So I'm trying to help get everybody unbinded. So we're going to move forward on different levels. Matter of fact, for those that are in the privatist.me room, folks, yeah. Matter of fact, those that get our regular email, and they will be able to actually click on the blog, not the actual Slavery by Consent video, and it's located on the privatist.me page for all of our members. And folks, yeah, let's talk about my members. It seems that I've been trying to do this curriculum now for the last it's an 8-week curriculum, and pretty much for the last 5 weeks. I'm wondering if people are having problems finding the icon. So I analyze things, folks. Because I'm always looking to give people solutions. This is what I talk about. We're solutions type. Folks, Michael and I, and we create, and we know what we're doing. We understand things, and we break it down. That's why we do MP3s on Thursday night calls, so that people can get a lot more clarity, because nobody talks about this stuff the way we talk about it, and that's why it's called privatist.me, because we do get to talk about these type of issues in the private, whether it be IRS, third-party debt, all this other stuff, because folks in the public side, they don't really want us speaking of it, so we just generalize on the public side, but we get real specific on the private side. And the beauty is those that become, matter of fact, privatist.me is free to sign up on. Folks, if you haven't seen the medical pages, the informations, the educations on the cancer pages, so you don't have to die for a lie ever again, like my wife's parents did back in the 70s. She lost them back-to-back due to the cancer lie. because Big Pharma, FDA, because if they can't patent it, like Laetrile, food-grade hydrogen peroxide, sodium bicarbonate, these modalities that are dirt cheap, Celtic salt, all these things that I talk about, this is the stuff they don't want us talking about, so that's exactly what I want to be talking about. So I create MP3s, educational overviews that are for consumption of all the people who sign up for privatist.me for free. I'm starting to wonder if my brothers and sisters are afraid to find the truth, because over the last 5 weeks, I've had approximately 200 people sign up for privatist.me. One, the site is free, so I know that it can't be a money issue, so I'm trying to figure out what the real issue is. I'm figuring when I get 30, 40,000 callers listening to these calls, I'm figuring everybody's going to go take a look at what's really cooking in my kitchen. I'm figuring everybody really wants to know, but it seems to me that everybody wants to sort of, for lack of a better term, stay asleep. And that's not a good place to be, folks, because you know what? Knowledge is power, and that's what I bring to the table. And when I discuss issues of the day, I'm going to give you proofs. So I always talk about proofs because that's where I live. If I can't show you so you can see it, feel it, touch it, then you know what? That is called hearsay. And what I bring forward to the table is not hearsay. I can give you unequivocal, verifiable proofs. Sort of like, like my student loan issue that I was dealing with some years ago. I didn't want anybody to think I was blowing smoke up their backside, so I posted over at the site, right under the curriculum, the 8-week curriculum. If you're a signed-up member, that's in the free portals. You go click on the 8-week curriculum, and underneath you'll see Peter's student loan issue. And, folks, I got my money back because I knew how to play ball. I understood the chicanery of the system, and I understood how to step it up a notch, for lack of a better term. So, I mean, these are the type of information I bring forward. And the cancer, folks, the cancer stuff, you know, they say it's 1 out of 3, but I think it's more like 1 out of 2. So there's probably a high incidence that 1 out of 2 in a household is going to die of cancer. My wife's household, it was both her mom and dad back-to-back a year from each other because they didn't treat them. They just poisoned them. That's what chemotherapy does. That's what radiation does. These are doses of chemicals that actually have an adverse reaction and kill all the good cells along with the bad cells. That's not a good place to be, folks. See, that's called, basically for me, that's called a lie because there's so many different excellent modalities. I mean, the curtain's been really, really pulled back on the medical side, from Laetrile to all these other viable options, as well as, food-grade hydrogen peroxide. It makes the body oxygen-rich. Matter of fact, if you go over to my website, it's on the page, the 1-minute cure that talks about food-grade hydrogen peroxide, how to use it. Not the garbage you buy in the brown bottle over at the friggin' regular grocery store, folks. It's food-grade hydrogen peroxide you can get from any pretty much pharmaceutical grade. It makes your distilled water extremely oxygen-rich, and it creates an oxygen-rich environment in your body, which basically beats down and removes you from an acidic mode to an alkaline mode. And that's really where your body's supposed to be operating. Problem is with the exposure of all the fluoridated water, and the chemtrails, and the GMO foods, and all this other stuff, your body doesn't have hardly a chance. So, folks, that's posted on the site. That's a freebie. Folks, like I say, because I don't want my brothers and sisters dying for a lie. I'll expose the truth. Big Pharma, FDA, they're incestuously tied to the hip financially. And so this is what I did for the last 25 years. I just followed the proverbial money trail because that's all it is. It's about the stinking money, and everybody's a money mark, sort of like the flu shots and the Gardasil shots. When you start reading up on that stuff, folks, matter of fact, Brother John will give me that website again when we move down the road a little bit. He'll remind me, and you can go ahead and post it and look it up. It tells you exactly what they're putting in these so-called poisons that they're putting in people's bodies. Your children, my children don't get the shots. That's just that way. I shut that door a long time ago. So when you have knowledge and you understand that thimerosal, mercury, and formaldehyde in a shot is just really not a viable option to not compromise your immune system. Yeah, so for all y'all running out wanting to run out to Walmart or Food City or wherever they're giving these shots, it's a sad thing, folks. It's come down to this, where you're a money mark in commerce, just going to the stores, and now they got people setting up weigh stations for shots. Like I say, that really makes me crazy because as a Navy doc, I did give shots for about a year and a half, but I was in a let's say, a good environment or a positive environment where I had access to a CPR cart, epinephrine, usually 2 or 3 doctors on staff. So if that person did go into anaphylactic shock from the shot, it's called an adverse reaction, they got a chance. I could do a trach. I could do a trach tube on them if I had to, and cut open the other airway to make them keep breathing, folks. But the whole point being is they're putting this poison out there, and nobody's even paying attention that this garbage is really that. Matter of fact, this past flu season, I've had the chance to do a little research, and pretty much most of the people that didn't get the flu shot didn't get the flu. But pretty much most of the people who compromised their immune system and took the shot, they're the ones coming up on the register with the flu. So, gee, go figure, folks. So it's like a slow poisoning when you take these shots. It compromises the immune system on a different level. But anyways, enough of that, folks. I'm going to come back to ground. So what I'm trying to figure out is, I've got plenty of room over at my buffet table. That's what I call it, because you get to eat from the tree of truth over at my house. And I invite everybody in. And it seems like since I started this curriculum, 200 people stepping into the front room for free. Either I'm doing something wrong, maybe I'm not saying something right, maybe my invite is incorrect or whatever. But we have the icons on freedomreigns.us, and also in the spirit of things, it says http://privatist.me. All you got to do is literally just copy and paste, put it in your browser, and it's going to open that door. And I'm trying to get it posted everywhere I can because, folks, this is, like I say, this is the truth nobody's going to talk about, and they're not. Big Pharma's not going to talk about it. The public pool system's not going to talk about it. You're not going to get any clarity from people who are pushing let's say, their bent. And because, like I say, it's one big control mechanism. The whole system, the mainstream media, doesn't cover issues of substance. It just keeps you volleyed and confused and stuck in no man's land psychologically, so that you don't look beyond the pale. So they keep you busy with the Justin Bieber BS and all this other crap, and that's what it is, folks. That it's crap for the mind. Dancing with the Stars. Sad to say, my own family watches Dancing with the Stars, and I was beating my wife's brakes off the other day about watching Dancing with the Stars. I said, if you took the time that you watched that and put it in an hour each day of something of substance, like information, like let's say The Dumbing Down of America by Charlene Isobert, so you can get some real truth. Like I say, because this is where I live. I spend my day in truth all day. Yeah, I do turn on the Weather Channel every now and then to see what's going on there, but that's about as good as it gets, folks. I don't watch the lamestream media. So when you remove yourself from that paradigm and you start looking outside the box, that's when the information has become really patently clear on what's really going on. And so, folks, I've been covering the banking stuff. All that stuff's posted on the site. I'm waiting for everybody to go pick it up. I call it your books and pencils, but it seems like I must be doing something damn wrong. I just can't figure it out. I am sort of confused, for lack of a better term. I'm putting it out. I'm showing the love because this is where I live. For everybody that's known me for a while and come through my door, I speak, I don't change like a chameleon. What you see is what you get, and I'm always like this. Yeah, I'm a cranky SOB. I'm probably going through male menopause, and it's all good. I can live with that. But the bottom line is I'm going to keep bringing the truth to the door, and that's where I operate. That's where I want you to operate. So, folks, if you haven't if you've never seen the video Slavery by Consent, and you want a real door opener, and another one, matter of fact, just posted last week, it's All Wars Are Bankers' Wars, folks. This will give you a history lesson you never got in grade school because they don't talk about truth over there in the world. They just keep you binded up with false information. So I'm in a deprogramming mode for my children for the swill and the chill and the lies and what they're pushing down their throats. And they know Daddy's going to talk about the real deal, how they keep us divided, how they create issues through borders and making bad guys out of non-bad guys, and we're chasing a terrorist under every stone, and you got to love it. Under the guise of it, that's always what it is, folks. It's a falsity. What they do is create falsities to keep you in fear mode, fear factor. I mean, my goodness. Folks, I'm so past the fear factor crap. It's, but then again, I've been pulling this curtain back for 25 years, so Yeah, it's a little hard hill to get over, but folks, once you open up the curtain, watch Changes on the Horizon, Part 2 over on the website. Watch this All Wars Are Bankers' Wars. Go watch this Slavery by Consent. You're going to have a whole heck of a lot of more clarity than when you had when you started. And if you go back to sleep after that, that's called cognitive dissonance. That's where you sort of puts you in a state of psychogenic shock where the mind can't wrap around the truth because it's so foreign to you. It's like a shock to your system. So all I want to do is get people in the front door, get their education so that they can move forward so they're not buying the lie and they're not going to be binded up by the lie. So, folks, they're going to feed it to you all day long. If you want to continue to buy it, you have the right to stay there, and you have in your mind and hug the tree of non-truth. Anyways, I'm not taking any callers right yet. Put them in a holding pattern. That's the way it works. That's my producer, folks. Anyways, folks, it's I'm just wondering what I'm doing wrong. I got privatist.me, which is a free portal for everybody, and nobody wants to come in. So either I'm doing something wrong, or I don't know if my brothers and sisters are afraid of the truth, and once they find the truth, they might have to do something. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out. Maybe somebody can give me a heads up. Anyways, Brother John, am I doing something wrong here? I mean, I'm looking for some clarity so I can create a solutions because I'm the solutions-based guy. So I'm just wondering, maybe you can give me some feedback of what I'm doing wrong.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now, brother.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, Pete, it's definitely a scary world we live in. Truth can be scary for a lot of people, for sure. And what you're offering, is definitely a complete paradigm change. Is a complete different thought on the whole world. Basically, everything we've known, we have to unlearn, relearn, and it's definitely. Not for the light-hearted, I would say. But if we don't all come together now and start facing our demons and start facing what's really happening in this world and stuff like that, we're not really going to have a world for our future children and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And it's getting so bad right now, especially like as you're saying, mentioning that show, Slavery by Consent. Excellent video to really inform you and tell you exactly what's going on, and that's just really the tip of the iceberg, But it's pretty concise and it tells you exactly how we got here, and we really got to go back in history and understand how we got here, and how our countries became bankrupt and how we had to be used as collateral by our countries, in order to get foreign money from foreign banks and stuff like this, And then, I never told this stuff, We're all creditors, and we're never told that they actually owe us this money, and you've got all these people, they're out in the streets, and they're, all these empty homes and all this kind of stuff to entities that owe us this money. So we live in a world where it's everything's so upside down, and it's a lot of people I think in this world like to be blissfully unaware, especially when the slave owner's treating you good, I think we get a lot of that mentality. Everyone's very comfortable with how it is, and people don't really wake up until it's their turn to be, something wrong done to them or victimized, exactly, and then it's like, they did that back in World War II when we had the Jews and all this being brought to labor camps and all this, and no one stood up, and it was, the next thing you know, it just keeps on building up, and next thing they're at your door, and this is why we really need to come together now, especially.
Yes, folks, Johnny could have said more wiser words. And this is what we're trying to affect. This is the whole point of In the Spirit of Things. This is the whole point of me being here. I could be doing other things on Tuesdays and Saturdays, but you know what? I love my brothers and sisters enough to bring forward some truth on a whole different level. And I think, I can't understand in my mind why people don't get just as excited as I do in a positive way, not a negative way. but excited to the fact that, wow, this is some really, really good stuff. This is real, valid information. Hey, Brother John, I'm getting emails from people who are actually using the Celtic salts and the sodium bicarbonate and actually affecting, one guy was telling me I had a nail fungus issue, and it was stubborn, couldn't get rid of it, and 3 months later his nail fungus issue is taken care of. We're dealing with Brother Gregg's sister out of Chicago, and she was sent home to die from the lovely White Jackets after they poisoned the crap out of her body with the chemical poisonings, and they sent her home to die. And then we turned around, and I said, okay, I talked to Brother Gregg. I said, you know what, extremely effective methodology. I said, I'm not a doctor, but, you know what, if it was me, I'd get myself a nebulizer and mix up a little bit of sodium bicarbonate, Celtic salt, proper dosage, get myself on greens, condensed greens or whatever, to feed the tissues that have been destroyed so it can give them a fighting chance to come back. Well, she had lung cancer, and she started on the nebulizer, and it's ironic that within a couple weeks, all of a sudden it was reversing itself. The nodule that they noticed on her lung is actually shrinking. But their friggin' medical technology is just killing them, and they had to send her ass home to die under the guise of, well, there's nothing else we can do. We exhausted the friggin' vessel, and we hypothecated piles of money off of it. Now that we're done with that, let's move on to the next victim, and that's, folks, that's really what it is. But you become the victim by default and for failure to have knowledge. I talk about this medical stuff because, folks, you are your own damn doctor. Gee, you don't need Dr. Pete. You don't need Dr. Phil. You don't need, Dr. Nothing. You are supposed to be taking responsibility for your own vessel, not leaving it in the hands of some clown of the circus who's been through 8 years of, they learn anatomy and physiology just like I did, and radiology, pharmacology, EKGs, pulmonary functions, all that stuff I learned. Yeah, that's whatever. That's the common man crap, but it doesn't fix anything. Their job is not to fix you. Their job is to keep you in the loop for a hypothecation event. It's a financial game. The whole system is rigged, folks. I've been saying it for years, and I can prove everything I say because I follow the proverbial money trail. But based on that, I would rather show the love and show you a way out of mammon and get you really excited because, folks, what I speak of, it's dead nuts right. It's true straight up. I'm 53. I don't have any medical maladies. I'm not on any medication. I know y'all saying, yep, Pete needs to be on medication, but I'm not. But, folks, I got a sense of humor about this stuff, but what I don't have a sense of humor about is that the truth is as plain as the nose on my face to see, and I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you over at privatist.me for free, and you don't even want to go friggin' click on the button to go look to see what the hell I'm talking about. That's the sad part. So that keeps you in dead man's land, and I don't understand why anybody would want to be there. If I knew I had viable options all day long so that I don't have to worry about that my butt's going to go to the boneyard for a lie, I'd be going to research it, and that's exactly what I did. I mean, folks, I'm going to be doing medical calls over at privatist.me because I do calls and with attaching information, PDFs, sort of like what I'm doing now with this 8-week curriculum that nobody goes to see, and I'm really not getting why nobody wants to go see it. The birth certificate bond, the securitization scam, the videos, everything in the attachments. Folks, I'm showing you irrefutable proofs. This is where I live. So, I don't know. I must be really doing something wrong. I didn't know I was this
Well,
ineffective.
You know what it is, Pete? It's the programming is so beautiful. You know what I mean? It's so well done. We're working against technology and mind control of the likes of we've never even seen or can even fathom. You know what I mean? And this is really what's going on. People are so conned into believing that everything is a lie. You've got a cure for cancer. Sure, I've heard that before. I only believe my doctor. You got a lot of people that just only trust. They actually trust their doctors. Most people are trusting people. Well, why would my doctor, purposely poison me and all this kind of stuff? And they don't realize, like, half these doctors don't even know. You know what I mean? They're getting kickbacks and they're getting trips and they're getting all this kind of stuff for being official drug dealers. And then they don't realize. Some of them realize, some of them don't. It's a great time to be alive because we do have a lot of people waking up right now. But we definitely need a lot more. That site you were looking for earlier was called novaccine.com.
Ah, very good.
The one you
folks, look that up, and it actually shows the compounds, exactly in the parts per million, how they what they're putting in there, they're putting in our brothers and sisters' bodies. That's why I don't get shots. Period. I haven't got shots for over 30 years, even though I used to give them in the Navy. Anyways, hey, Brother John, hang loose because we're fixing to go to a break. And, folks, stand fast because it's fixing to get exciting because I got some great stuff coming forward on different levels. For those in pain and don't like the pain, I'm going to show you how to get out of some pain. Yeah, my spirit's fired up tonight because, you know what, I'm pulling the curtain back, and I'm going to pull it back all the way because, you know what, I really can't stand to see my brothers and sisters suffer through all this garbage, these lies, this nefarious crap. And it's like I say, it's plain as the nose on my face, and it really does break my heart. It puts me in tears because I'm bringing you a truth that nobody else is talking about on a different level, and all you got to do is take those rose-colored glasses off for a minute and really go take a look at what I'm talking about, and you'll have so much clarity. But it's like I feel like I'm talking to myself. Yeah, I've been educating my brothers and sisters my entire life. I did it in the military, 10 years as a Navy doc, especially my Marine brothers. Somebody sent me a beautiful tape today. It was 6 minutes. Folks, I don't subscribe to the military. I don't subscribe to the wars or any of the garbage. But I sort of bought the lie back in the 70s. I thought I was doing the patriotic thing. I bought that lie, too. But you know what? There's a beautiful thing, a camaraderie when you have brothers in the military, and your job is to patch their happy butts off so when it gets shot off that they can make it out the other side or come home alive. You know, that's a tough gig. I did that for 8 years as a Navy doc, and you know, it's as a corpsman. That's what they call us as Navy docs. They call us corpsmen. Somebody actually had the audacity in one of the Skype rooms to sort of put some nasty stuff in that room after I shared that love. Somebody who obviously doesn't have their mind right and somebody who obviously doesn't understand what camaraderie and taking care of your brother. See, folks, I'm going to come back to the love button here because it is all about the love. You know, I've saved lives. I've saved many lives. I got accommodations. I don't care. That's not what it's about. See, when you come from a true heart, folks, with true intent and true love, see, that shines through. See, that's called the spirit. That's that convicted little thing inside you, down to the deep parts of your heart that nobody really talks about. That's where I live, and you know, and that I did it without looking for recognition. It wasn't about recognition. It was about love. It was about caring enough for my brothers and my sisters in the world when I was dealing with these issues at hand, being in the military. Folks, the military thing, as far as these wars, it's one big-ass scam. I know it now. I know now what I didn't know then, and once I pulled the curtain back, I understood that because in Iraq, when that crap went down in 2003, it was all because they wouldn't denominate in freaking FRNs. So you got the crooks, the CIA, bent operatives, and we're looking for a proverbial boogeyman that doesn't exist. And now you're classified as a terrorist. I'm classified as a terrorist because I speak truth. I have no bent against them. I don't want to war with nobody. I'm just sharing the love. They don't like us sharing the love because it scares the living bejesus out of them so they can keep their nefarious friggin' scam game going. Well, I'm done with the game. Folks, I'm off the plantation. I'm not living on that side of the fence, and that's a beautiful thing for me because I got my mind right. So, anyways, I guess we got a caller. Just hang tight, John. I guess, yeah, go ahead, Deatra. I guess we'll let one through. Whichever one you want to do.
In our collective experience, moments to moments.
I can't really hear him too good. Mike is...
Technology to experiment and experience the power of He opened up Jake's.
215, your mic is on.
His family thought they saved Ziggy.
Well, it sounds like 215 is playing a commercial for us, and they have nothing better to do, so dump them, please. Thank you. Next. Hello? I can't hear a thing.
Hello?
Okay,
hello?
Now I can hear a thing. Yep, hello?
Hello, hello?
Hello, hello?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes?
Yes, you can hear me. It's Michelle calling from Montreal.
Michelle, how are you doing? Oh, I love Michelle from Montreal.
I'm very well. Peter, you sound frustrated tonight, though, my friend.
I didn't take my medication today.
Well, no, I don't think there's any need to. I'm not a doctor, but I don't think you need to.
No.
And I feel your frustration, and I don't know. I guess I'm just calling up to encourage you. It just seems that there are a lot of people who don't want help. And I guess as way showers, as light holders and truth sayers, it's our job also to have that discernment to conserve our energy for those who are ready to make the jump, for those who see this, who can sense the need of what it is that you're offering. I myself took a course in energy healing a few years back, and it was amazing. I started receiving people and doing energy healing on them, and I had extraordinary results. But I didn't take payment because I felt that it was not my place, and also because I was in a position that allowed me to do, maybe a session every week or so.
Right.
What I'm getting at is this. It was difficult for me just to find people to give free sessions to.
Right.
Because, it's out there. It's difficult. It's difficult for me to explain, first of all, and it's difficult for the mind to grasp, number one,
Yep.
and to hold on to it, let alone accepting it. So you're coming out with these new ideas for a lot of people, that they're new ideas, and it's difficult. There's a resistance. It just seems that we've got this this mental resistance to accepting new ideas. Almost like we're programmed. No, can't hold on to a new idea. My brain will explode. I guess I'm just calling to encourage
it really
you.
is too. We seem to, with new ideas and stuff like that, anything that's going to change your paradigm, we automatically, as humans and part animal, go into a fight or flight syndrome. Even subconsciously, we don't even realize that we're doing it. So a lot of people will do that. If you say, oh, by the way, this is not right, this is not true, and oh no, I don't want to hear that. You'll get that a lot. And you even get that. Some people won't even say, I don't want to hear that. They just, block it out. La la la. I can't hear this. And it seems to be. I hear exactly what you're saying there. It does seem to be chipping through concrete sometimes, and it does take a little while. People don't seem to get it right away, but eventually, if you're patient and you do show the love and stuff like that, eventually they'll come around and start understanding and realizing what is happening in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Michelle,
and also,
I know.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I know where you're coming from. I've been in this huge-ass shift for the last 6 months on a massively huge level. I'm talking energy shift, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, morally, where I couldn't even grasp it. I can grasp it, but instead of fighting it, I embraced it, and I'm moving forward through it. It's a huge shift in my mind, and I've seen a massive change just right in front of my eyes with me. A sensitive part of my heart because of my military background. Sweetheart, I was the most dogmatic, butt-kicking guy you'd probably ever want to hang out with. Mr. Macho. I mean, the whole. If God would have gave me boys instead of girls, I would have had them doing push-ups. That's where I came from, and I'm not lying. I'm telling you. You ask my wife. I mean, she just looked at me.
Sure you're not.
I said, yeah, lucky. I said, God got a sense of humor. He gave me girls because if he'd have given me boys, they would have been drilled. I would have had them recon rangers in no time. But see, that hard side of me, there was also a soft side of me, and it was always there. It just was sort of reserved. See, we put on our facade. We put on our game face when we go into environments that create, how do you put it, for lack of a better term, almost like non-compassionate. See, because I got to see stuff that you really don't want to see. and it's really hard on the heart, but you internalize that stuff. And when you internalize it, it's going to affect you spiritually on different levels. You know, I've seen them go to the boneyard on me, and it's a tough gig. It's a tough gig. But you know what? All of a sudden, this past year, I've been trying to talk to people my entire life, and then all of a sudden this nucleus starts coming in my door, people talking of substance, these issues that I speak of, and it's like, and all of a sudden now I've got more through my door than I can, hardly handle, and it's been a beautiful transition. It's been a transformation to the root of my soul, and that was the whole reason why I started this show, In the Spirit of Things, because it really starts in this beautiful place called our hearts, our minds, and our spirit. And when you can bring that forward, and when you can give it to others, and you can bring it, because you know what, everybody needs a little love. I mean, we're all in pain. Everybody's in pain, and I see it. I see it everywhere, and I internalize that pain. I mean, I'll go out for a couple months in a row. I was going out on my porch, and for the first 2 hours to start my day, I go out and cry. I mean, that's some divesting of some energy because. And I didn't fight it. I knew it was coming. I could feel it, and the resonation and the shift in my heart. And it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And it just I get mushier. Hell, I'm a freaking marshmallow. I mean, this guy. You know, I could have been a drill sergeant, and I was. Now I'm Mr. Marshmallow over here. He says, "What the hell happened to me? I have to check between my legs to make sure I didn't grow something. You know, other than the appendage I was supposed to have there." I mean, I said, yeah. I talked to my friends. I said, oh, wait a minute, it growed over. Wait a minute, let me check. Yeah, I got a vagina now. Hey, folks, yeah, I actually said vagina. Whatever. But you know, oh my goodness, you can't make this stuff up. When you are going through this transformation, you just can't make it up. The softer side of you, when it starts coming out, you don't stop it, folks. You embrace it, because you know what? That's where you're supposed to be. This is where we're supposed to be for our brothers and sisters. We're supposed to be bringing this beautiful truth, this beautiful love, and really bringing it forward so that we can all shift together. This is where the commonality, where we unify, we come together, not divide. It's the division that's killing our world, folks. It's not because there is no love. We've become hard, cold, and fast. And I was like that in the 80s and the 90s, but I'm not like that anymore. So, you know, we got to get this transformation, folks. This is why I say, that's why I invite everybody to privatist.me, because I'm telling you, you come over to my house, you're going to feel the love, and you're going to see the love. You're going to see, this is foreign to everybody's mind. Hell, it was foreign to my mind, folks, a year ago, as far as this love stuff. I said, my goodness. I said, man, I've really lost my mind. But you know what, folks? My soul is so convicted in a beautiful way, and this is what keeps bringing me forward. Because, you know what, I love my brothers and sisters enough to know that they don't have to go down a continued path of disinformation, misinformation, bullcrap. I come from a background, like I say, of true knowledge, and because I'm the digger. I love to dig in. I'm an information junkie. I mean, my wife, she looks at me like, my God, haven't you had enough? It's enough to put you in psychogenic shock, folks, but see, I can't move forward until I have the truth. See, when you get the truth in your heart, it convicts you, and you get to move free. See, the truth is not a scary thing. It's a beautiful thing, folks, because once you have it, then you know how to operate in the proper capacity when you get it. What do you think, Michelle? You think I'm can you send me some tampons and some Midol, or what?
I don't even know what to say about that, but as for your transformation, look, it's happening to me too. And you know, you were expressing how you were transforming. Like you've had people literally die on your watch, and that's heavy stuff to deal with. And literally, you are an alchemist, Peter, because when you would go out onto your balcony and just cry for 2 hours or whatever, what you were doing is taking that energy and transforming it. While going through it, you were transforming it. And isn't that the definition of alchemy?
Yep.
Taking something and transforming it. It seems that the matrix that we're living in right now is based on Well, they really require that we suffer because somehow they harness that energy when we're in fear and suffering. And it's my knowing that suffering is the greatest departure from the truth, and that my natural state, and I would even posit that the natural state of all people is one of expansion. So when we recognize that, I think we're 90% of the way. It's the day-to-day stuff that we deal with right now. And you look at the various control systems, the media, governments, the corporations, and, you just have to turn on the TV to see what it is that they want us to experience. They want us to experience fear and the suffering of other people. We don't hear about the good things that happen. We hear about the negativity. Right. And when we're in that state of fear, we're contracted. We're not expanding. We're not growing. And any life, anything that's alive, whether it's a plant or an animal or a human being, can be in one of two states. Either it's growing or it's contracted. So either I'm in a state of expansion or I'm completely contracted. And it has to do with conditions. The plant will not flourish if the soil isn't right, or if there's not enough sunlight, or not enough water. It's the same with a human being. But I think just having that awareness is 90% of the trajectory.
Yeah.
So long as it's us, it's almost as though, and so long as, this is an important point, and I've been trying to figure out how to put it into words, because I find that language is such a limiting construct for me lately. I just can't find the words for things. When we witness something, for example, a story on the evening news about, well, let's use 9/11 because everyone's familiar with that story.
Yep.
When you're watching that, on certain dimensions, you are giving your okay to that. Because your focus is on that, you have a contract with that occurring. You are allowing it. You accept it, and you're witnessing it. It's hard to say, but if you witness something like this, and you say in your mind, you don't have to say it out loud, although I guess in voice it's more powerful, I don't accept, or I don't allow this, and then send it back to those people who created this event, this energetic event, but send it with love.
Right.
And it'll go back to them, and they will experience what they have caused. But because you're doing it with love so that they can feel what it is, then they will have a choice. They will either have to stop doing it because they're harming themselves, and isn't that what all our leaders, spiritual leaders have always told us, right? What I do to myself and what I do to others, I do to myself. So they will have the choice to continue to harm others and harm themselves, or they will have the choice to stop and to perhaps consider another way. So what you're doing is so very, very, very important. And I wouldn't worry about those who aren't on board yet. What you're doing is holding the space energetically. And it's important that you continue. And it's important that you recognize your frustration and see what it is, and allow it, but to continue, to change, to be your own alchemist, to change that frustration into joy or something lighter. You know, if we were to give sort of like a temperature scale of all the different emotions, you know what I mean? Because ultimately it's all about synthesis, is it not?
Right.
Temperature, right? You have freezing cold, you have boiling hot. It's just a difference of degree. So we're living in this world of duality, which is really what we're forced into. But we know on a level that it's all about unity, ultimately. And it's the synthesizing of the dark with the light that will lead us to understand the whole unity aspect of things. I'm still working on that.
It doesn't happen in 5 minutes, but I'll tell you what, the last 6 months, it seemed like 5 minutes in this incredible shift. I mean, at first I didn't know how to sort of handle it, but then I started to, instead of internalizing it, I guess in essence, I was going with the flow instead of fighting with it. I let it go, and it was beautiful because I was sort of bringing my energy out into the world. I know this is ethereal stuff for most people, and they don't get it, but folks, like I said, you can't make this stuff up. So I just started embracing it. I started embracing this marshmallow heart thing, and I'm just saying, wow. And the more I embrace it, the better it gets. It's like just when you think you've topped off, I'm going to another level. And I'm serious. I mean, like every freaking 30 days, I was going through this. I was saying, what the hell is going on? I thought I was, like I say, you start thinking you're losing it, but then you have clarity of thought. You understand what you're feeling. You understand what you're going through. Maybe not in its entirety, but then you start embracing it, and then you start letting it roll. When you let it go, it's a beautiful thing. It's just incredible. I can't even believe this transformation that's happened in 6 months, and it just keeps getting better. And I got a friend that I talk to up in New York all the time. I said, here we go again. It's next. Just when I thought that I leveled off, I'm going to the next level. But that's, folks, it's huge. You can't make this stuff up. It's like, so this is where I'm coming from. So when I sound excited and a little downtrodden on the front end of this, but I guess because I can see what I can see, and I can't understand why nobody sees what I see. This is because I see it as plain as the nose on my face. I live in a household where my significant other, I've been beating her brakes off for 28 years, and she's still not getting the memo. Say, what the hell? There's got to be some osmosis here. I mean, some synthesis. I mean, I got to rub off somehow, I would think, but but everybody's at their different level. And you're right. You broached a topic of it's so many different manipulative constraints, and I'm well aware of it. I get it, and I really do get it. But at the same time, it's sort of frustrating because I'm bringing you my best. I'm bringing you the love with both barrels because I don't want you to suffer for a lie, and there's no need to. And it's just so simple. If you'll just take the rose-colored glasses and come over to my house, and when I say my house, that's why I say I set up this beautiful privacy.me because I knew I had to go into the private because a lot of issues that I deal with over there can't be dealt with in the public. So as not to create an adversarial scenario, I created private.me as far as the educations. And there's stuff in there, it's going to blow you away. But at the same time, you know what? Once you get the truth, then you get to move forward to the next step. How you choose to deal with that truth is another thing. Folks, I was going through psychogenic shock for the last 25 years. Even I went through cognitive dissonance. It was hard for me to believe that it was just about the stinking money. It was hard to believe that there was this black-hearted crap going on right up underneath our noses under the guise of doing one thing, and it's just so full of crap. And once you pull the curtain back and you really see it for what it is, it's pretty ugly and it's pretty black. But that's where I wanted to make the change. That's where I knew I could affect a positive. So I stepped in. And all of a sudden, all this stuff happened. I started talking about 6 months ago. I never even did Skypes or nothing, and here I am now. And it's like I'm front and center. But folks, this is not about me. This is about us, and that's the whole gist of the deal. This is not about grandstanding. This is not about a soapbox. This is about the truth, so we can all come together in unity as one, as a collective, and that's where the love comes from. Because when that collective love that door opens, folks, it's like the most incredible, intense life-transforming thing that you can ever be a part to, and that lets you know you're really alive. What do you think, Michelle?
It seems that these past 6 months that went by, like you said, in about 5 minutes, there's a meaning. There's meaning to that. It seems that you're in a process now of just this accelerated process, and you're finding your people. And for some reason, that has also been something that's been very important to me. Just those words, finding your people. And for me, I don't know what that means yet, because I don't know in what capacity I'm here to serve yet, like in my highest capacity. Because, I mean, you know, I can plaster, I can paint and stuff, but, I mean, that's, I can do energy healing, but it's not my place, you know. I lost my train of thought.
Well, that's all right. Michelle, I would love you to just hang out with us on the call. Do you have to keep her in the loop? See, I've been looking for other kindred spirits who are sort of getting the memo, because I sort of operate as a lone guy over here. You know, I'm looking for people of substance who get what I'm saying, and Michelle, you really do. But we're going to go to a break for a second. I want you to hold fast. I'm going to probably bring in another shout out after the fact, but I want Michelle to hang fast because, folks, she's bringing some really, really nice information. I'm feeling a good vibe tonight. I'm feeling some love. Michelle, I thank you so much for coming in the door, because you sort of diffused my negative energy and sort of brought me back to ground. And I speak in vernacular that probably is maybe not it's sort of foreign to most people. But see, I understand circuits. I understand the body. I understand how it works. I understand that the electromagnetic flow through your existence, because you are the body electric, folks. And I've done calls on the Celtic salt and getting the 94-plus dense trace nutrients that everybody needs, everybody, because you operate with what's called that sinoatrial node. That's that ticker in your heart, and that's where the electromagnetic flow resonates from. Being a Navy doc, I sort of read up on these issues of the day, so I can get clarity on how the synapse of the cells actually intercommunicate with each other in electromagnetic flow. Because if you're having a human experience and you're walking upright, folks, you're electromagnetic. You go to ground, and folks, going to ground is a very good thing. So you have negative and positive energy and stuff, folks. But this is where I live. I'm on my own spaceship, for lack of a better term, but because I get it. I think Michelle's sort of getting what I'm putting out. What do you think about that, Michelle, about the electromagnetic flow of the body and how it does resonate?
I totally agree with what you're talking about, and we discussed. Well, you mentioned this. You touched on this a little bit on the last call. You know, isn't it interesting that they're called circuit courts, right? And that you get charged.
Yep.
And there's the discharge, right? When the court case is over. And another one that seems important is invoice, because when I was working, I would give people an invoice. And I think Santos, I heard this from Santos, that otherwise it's just a piece of paper, but because it has the word on top, invoice, it is given voice, right? And it's that vibrational frequency, right? We have the electric and we have the magnetic, and it's the dance between the electric and the magnetic that gives us life. Anyway, this is just my opinion. This is just my idea. But when we have that vibrational frequency, then the bill, the invoice, comes to life and it becomes a reality. I just really have this sense that the controllers know all these things that we don't. And it has to do with our true nature, our electromagnetic true nature, and about sound and vibrational frequencies and resonances and harmonics and sine waves and all these things that you as an electrician, know about for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Continuity of flow. I speak in vernacular, like I said, that's probably foreign to some people, but it always comes back to the electric. You have the capacity, i.e. a capacitor. You see, because that's where energy flows. So when I talk about continuity of flow, it's electromagnetic flow. That's what I speak of when I say continuity. See, because when the mind is right and the body's right and the spirit's right, it all comes together in which I call continuity of flow. So everything sort of comes together, and you're not bucking power, for lack of a better term. Bucking power is a term we used in the field when I was working cable systems. What would happen is if you had electricity coming from one side of the line and then from another side of the line from another power source, that's called bucking power, and it will cause the system to blow out. That's two forces of energy meeting at one point. And so one's going to give. There's going to be resistance. One's going to be weaker. One's going to be stronger. Well, it's the same thing within the system, like you talk about within the cord system, circuit cords, continuity of flow. They're bucking power against you and reducing you. So these terms that we use in this electromagnetic world have specific meanings to them. So that's pretty deep stuff, you know.
No, it's excellent point. Excellent point. For example, resistance. We can look to electricity to see what happens when we have resistance. Last summer, we had in Montreal, we had, for lack of a better way to express it, student resistance, and I think it made pretty much world news. The students went on strike, basically, and they resisted, and there were arrests, and then there were some riots, and I mean, that's resistance. That is what is wanted from us. If we know who we are, I think we recognize that, and we take that, we transform it, and we go with the flow. You know,
you just took the words.
That didn't turn
you
out
just took
right.
the words out of my mouth. That thought came to my head. Go with the flow. We used to use it in the military all the time.
Wow. Oh no!
Go with the flow, bro. You know, hey, no resistance here. Hey, we got to get this job done. We going with the flow to make it happen. It's ironic that you mentioned that. You just because I thought it, and you pulled the thought right out of my damn head about 10 seconds before I got to say it.
Awesome. That's cool.
It's beautiful. Yeah, you're blowing me away, Michelle. You're blowing me away.
But there's water,
incredible.
too, that also has flow, right? And isn't it one of the strongest forces of nature? Over time, it'll just erode through anything. So that's also something important to consider, that there's strength there. And maybe if we change our perception of what strength is, you know, that maybe not necessarily it's, you know, Peter from years ago, all muscle-bound and macho. Maybe strength is the new Peter, sort of more open and receptive to ideas and going with the flow.
Yep.
You know, I think that's a form of strength.
Oh yeah, physical is just a protective mechanism. That was my shield. 19-inch arms, 52-inch chest, and I was 5'7", and no Marine wanted to play with Doc. And matter of fact, so they would go with the flow with Doc because I could give you high resistance. But it wasn't about that. See, for me, the physical thing was more of directing energy flow. I found a conduit. I found a source. I educated myself. I read educational information about nutrition and how to feed the machine to get the electromagnetic synapse and flow of the muscle tissues to build. That's an incredible endeavor. To build a body is an incredible endeavor, and it's really, it takes a pretty sharp person to do it. So for all you people who see these muscle heads at the gym, you know what? It takes an extraordinary amount of mental capability, because you are fighting resistance all the time. When you're in the weight room, you're fighting resistance. but I like it because I can go with the flow and use the energy. Matter of fact, I'm back on that path again. I'm actually hitting the weight pile. I'm 53, but I don't look like I'm but 30. Maybe in the face I look like I'm 53, but my body doesn't look like anywhere near what a 53-year-old would look like. And so what's brought me back to ground here, Michelle, is this. I was getting my mind and my spirit right. I said, I'm missing one peg of the stool. There's 3 pegs in a stool. Everything's in threes. Now, we can talk about that in a second, but I said, I need to complete my circuit and get back on that track, i.e., I'm back to lifting again. So it's like, because the energy that I get more energy, not tired out from doing it, and I also was a marathon runner, so I knew how to direct my energy flow. I ran 7 to 10 miles every morning for breakfast. Then I would go work out for 2 hours. See, that's one thing good about the military. They really help you build a machine. 2-hour lunches with the Marines over at Quantico, Virginia. And then I would go run another 7 to 10 miles after lunch. I was sort of how do you put a physical fitness junkie, I guess. I just re-diverted my energy because I used to be in the negative side of the house where I was sitting on a bar stool for the first 3 years when I was in the Navy. And I was that was a negative energy flow, and I was stuck in that paradigm for about 3 years. And I said, you know what, this is not where I want to live. I had some introspection. I started looking at myself and saying, you know what, this is not the real Peter. So I redirected the flow. And, you know, it blows most people away because I'm a smoker, by the way. I still haven't got that right. But, you know, I was running marathons, and I still smoke. So, I mean, everybody says, well, hey, smoking only takes up 6% of your lung capacity, so that's a non-issue when your lungs are right. But anyways, I feed the machine right, and, you know, it's an offset. I know people, farmers in their 80s and 90s that smoked their entire lives. They didn't die from cancer. They died from old age. Anyways, if you treat your machine right, you can – anyways, that's my excuse to keep smoking anyways. But, you know, one of these days, you like it. Yeah, well, hey, I'm selling it. Hey, I'm selling it. You got to go with the flow here, sweetie. But, you know, I'm going to come to a point in my life where I know I will throw that to the side. But I'm not quite there. I deal with stress. Everybody deals with stress differently. But, yeah, I dealt with my stress my first 3 years in the Navy on a bar stool. And that's, matter of fact, the Navy gave me an option and said, hey, you might have to go look for new employment if you can't get your mind right. So I got my mind right, and then that's when I started getting to the physical end of things. And I went from 225 pounds, and on 5'7", it doesn't look good, folks, down to 152 pounds, 29-inch waist, and I did that in a matter of 6 months. Went to straight salads, started feeding the machine. So, folks, I'm just trying to share, I guess what I'm trying to share, Michelle, is that you can change in midstream at any time. If you are stuck in bad behavioral patterns that are causing you duress, that's when introspection takes over, which some of us have, some of us don't. I've always had the capacity to look within to find who I am. So that's really been a really beneficial because I've gone down some real hard road, and I'm not going to share that hard road, but I'm just trying to share the fact that we can change gears at any point in our life if we choose to, but it's going to take a little bit of heavy lifting, and excuse me for using the vernacular of a weightlifter, but yeah, you know, you gotta, in order to make it, there is no pain or is no gain without a little pain, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's redirected is what it is.
It seems like it's the spirit that informs the mental. So at one point, your spirit might inform your mental that you're maybe ready to quit smoking, and then it's the mental that will inform the physical. I have a story about, if I can, about the power of the mental, and I have come to understand that it's a mental universe, and that we manifest our universe. When I was a kid, I was flipping through a National Geographic magazine, and I noticed these photographs, and I was, at that age, I was only looking at the pictures, and it was of the Bedouin tribe, I guess, of nomads somewhere in the Middle East, I guess. And I saw this picture of an enormous adult camel who must have weighed 1 ton plus, and it had this rope attached to its so how do you say that in English? Its nose, I guess. Its muzzle, nose, and the rope went from its nose, snout. I don't know how you call that. What does the camel have on the front of its face? It's its nose, I guess. And the rope went from his nose to this tiny rock on the desert floor. And as a kid, I didn't understand. Okay, if the camel is tied with a rope, that must mean that ordinarily he would try to get away. But this thing is like very powerful and strong. He could just walk away any time he wants. What's going on here? So I started to read the article, and the article said that when they're baby camels, the rope is put on their muzzle and attached to a small rock, and they struggle and strain and push and pull to no avail. So what happens? They learn that they cannot escape. They accept the idea that they cannot escape. And even though conditions change over time, they grow, they become strong, like the one-ton animals, these enormous beasts, the idea keeps them chained, literally. They're in the jail cell of their mind. And I think that's what we deal with when we speak to the people that are even further in the matrix. The ideas are there, and they can't break out of those ideas. I bump into people all the time. It's to the point where it's like a video game. I'll just be walking on the sidewalk, and especially, I guess, the younger generation, they've got their earbuds or their their headphones on, and invariably they're playing around with their MP3 player, or they've got like a smartphone, and like they're in another dimension. So it's not enough that they're in our matrix, but they've gone further down in. They're not even noticing the here and now of this matrix. They can't hear the birds singing. They don't see that they're approaching me and that they're going to bump into me. And those people, they will free themselves when and if they want to, but I don't know. I find that I can't really talk to people like that because they've given consent. And my sense is that we must give consent. Otherwise, somehow, things can't be perpetrated on us. So when I see an event like a 9/11...
well, how about the court? They have you give over consent by... The judge can say, remove that hat or remove those glasses or get that toothpick out of your mouth, and you give over and you traverse and cause yourself a consent. And give over a consent. So it's just like and that's basically we've been programmed for so long to go along, get along, because we're coming. Most people are coming from the moral side of the fence as, I just want to get along. That's where my wife lives. Me, I bucket at every point. It's not about giving consent. It's about what capacity are you operating in my world, and let's see if you and I should even be communicating. Everything. It's matter of fact, that's why I posted today for tonight's call. Was this? Everybody needs to go watch this. Slavery by Consent. It's a 2-hour movie, folks. It's going to blow your ever-loving minds, but you gave over consent. And they break it down into digestible chunks for your mind to wrap around so you can pull those glasses off, those rose-colored glasses, and that's why I posted it for this week's curriculum, because you know what? Until they get past what's in between the ears, those are the issues that are going to bind them up. So, anyways, it's just sort of like you're talking about the 911. 911. Matter of fact, the day after it went down, Jesse Ventura was down. Now, this is an ex-Navy SEAL, another Navy man. He goes down and he says, gee, those are thermite burns on those columns. Who would have the capacity to know better what the hell a thermite burn looks at? Because it burns at 2,000 degrees, and I know a little bit about thermite myself because I was with the Marine Corps side. They like to blow things up and melt stuff, and so when Jesse Ventura, ex-governor of Minnesota, he came to ground zero, and he knew what time it was. He knew. Folks, and by the way, if you look at those damn buildings, 93 stories cannot self-implode upon itself like a Vegas hotel unless it was blown the hell up. It should have waffled left or right. It defied the laws of physics. It did what I call a physical anomaly, because no building with steel structure. Matter of fact, they just showed, some years back, a German hotel that had burned to plumb to the ground. I mean, there was nothing left, but the steel frame was totally intact. Folks, this is where, that's where you got to get your mind right. This is called a engineering anomaly. Even the 1,500 engineers that did an overview, and, I read up on the 911 report, that bull crap report, and they were all told to shut up, put the bull crap on those documents or in that report, and it was all, anyways, the irony was, hey, let's take a look at Building 7. 20 minutes before it went to the ground, it's going down, Building 7 just went down. What a crock of crap. It was scripted garbage, folks. Snap out of it. It was scripted. Right. And by the way, then, see, here we go. I'm sorry I'm going off on a tangent here, but see, because I know stuff. Follow the money trail. Silverstein owned Building 7, and you heard it off his lips. He said, pull it. Well, the vernacular of the word pull it means to blow it. They use it in military jargon to blow shit all the time. Anyways, long story short, here's some irony for you folks. The guy that clowned Silverstein, who owned Building 7, well, he had an insurance contract, and he doubled down on it 30 days before. But nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the fact that $2.3 trillion went missing the dadgum day before this 911 crap went down. So that was a diversion. So instead of having everybody, the sheeple, looking at the $2.3 trillion that went missing the day before, we create a new diversion. We get them all lathered up, sort of like the gun crap up in Sandy Hook. See, now I'm getting on a tangent, sweetheart. I guess I'm on a roll. I get excited because I see the truth as plain as the nose on my face, and my brothers and sisters are buying the bullshit lie. My goodness. Folks, it's a wake-up call.
But that's the thing. They will buy the lie if that is their place. I used to be a special effects technician at the beginning when I first started working in film and television a long time ago. And I used to build things and blow them up. And for me, looking back, I understand why I had that experience. It was so that I could understand the power of energy. And it's funny, I listened to, I think it was, was it Steve Jobs, I think, who gave sort of an address to a graduating class, and he mentioned 3 points of his life and how those 3 points, looking back from where he was, they all lined up so that we only have understanding of the process of our life when we look back and we realize that all the points line up. But just switching back to something that you said, we were discussing how in a courtroom, the judge will ask you to remove your hat or stop chewing your gum or whatever, and that's to get consent. I remember I was in court for, I think it was small claims court, and this was a while ago, a couple of years back, and I remember noticing that the judge, when she entered the room, made eye contact with every single person there. So it was as insidious and as quickly done as simply making eye contact. So that in the etheric... She was looking for the resistance on who was going to be the tough cookies and who wasn't. She was assessing her prey. And I think even beyond that, she's establishing her authority. In other words, if you're not looking when she comes in the room because her entrance is inconsequential to you, then there is no consent. But she needs for everyone to look at her. So it's to the point where it's so absolutely mundane. These little things are so absolutely mundane, but on their level, it's so essential. And that's why, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but for those people who don't have the eyes to see these things, they will not see. For those people who do not have the ears to hear these things, they will not hear. I've tried, and it's impossible. I don't know. I remember watching for a second time Eyes Wide Shut. I saw it when it first came out, and I watched it maybe about a year or so ago again. He was really onto something. I remember going to sleep, and it was though I had a complete download of some information. Everything made sense to me. I had clarity on everything, life, the universe, everything. And I remember waking up and trying to grasp at those fragments before they dissipated, because I wanted to remember them so very much. But I'm sort of happy just knowing that I had that clarity. So I know that it exists. I know that there is an order to things. And we're not privy to all of the details. But I would say that we're getting some fragments, I think collectively, or like our people, I really sense that we're gathering our fragments. We're waking up from our collective dream, and we are grasping at the fragments. And each one of us, it seems, has a fragment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, hey, we're going to go to break. Michelle, I want you to hang out to the downside. That other caller, please hang loose for a second. I'll take you first up after we get done with this break. And, John, you've been a real trooper. Hang loose. Hey,
beautiful
I'm
call,
loving
Pete.
this.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, this is one of the better. Like I say, Michelle, you came through the door, and you basically diverted the energy of the beast. Anyways, we're going to go to break. Yeah. Anyways, it's funny when you put it in the context of this song. And folks, I don't even give it to the government because read the word over men. It's right in the word. But the whole point being is it's not a government. That's the falsity they gave you as an authority. That's another scam, folks. Here we go. It's a bunch of corporate whores, just like what goes on in court. You're merely a hypothecation event. I've covered this time and time again with the bonds. So, folks, you've given them power. Matter of fact, hey, Michelle, before we go to my 804 call, I want to say this. Last week I got an article from a state, this guy was a state representative in Nebraska, and the clowns that be, the revenue generation agents gave him a ticket, and he had to go to court. Well, this is the funny part of the article. I read it all, and this guy goes into court, and he's beating the brakes off of basically the DA and the judge, saying, hey, well, we're moving forward, but before we can move forward, I'd like to see a copy of a bond attaching to your oath of office. And the DA had the cojones to actually say, we don't need no stinking bond, without putting the stinking in, but that's an old movie. Anyways, but she said she didn't need a bond or an oath. Well, folks, if that doesn't show you how underhanded and nefarious this whole scam is, now these people are operating in full unlimited commercial liability, and they think they got no capacity to have to answer up to anybody. Who died and left them God? Well, this representative knew that, and while he was beating the brakes off the district attorney, the judge snuck out the back door. You got to love it, folks. See, because he knew. This is a state representative, so he's obviously an attorney, so he had some forethought and knowledge, and he knew in order for them to act in the proper capacity to protect the state from any liability, that its employees, if they go wayward or rogue, have to be held accountable, and they have to have a bond in place. And I've been saying this for years. I won't even get into the bond stuff. My goodness, James Bond. Here we go. But, folks, I mean, now we've actually got him coming out of the closet in naked aggression and saying we don't need it. Well, sorry, wrong deal. That means you're just another scumbag trying to weasel your way into my world when you have no authority and you have no capacity to. It'd be no different than my next-door neighbor, thinking he had power and authority over me to tell me to wash my windows or something. Who the hell died and left you king? Nobody. So get your happy ass out of my face or we're going to have a problem. Anyways, I get excited. But see, folks, I see things for the way they are. And when you start pulling back this curtain, you'll really start getting the memo. But that lady, that DA, spoke volumes when she said we don't need an oath of office or a bond. Well, wrong answer. Anyways, this rep beat the brakes off. It was a state rep, but this got some good play. And I just thought that it was very interesting that these clowns, these pretend actors, that's all they are, and this is what I'm trying to give people clarity on. These are literally pretend actors. You know what? You have no more authority over me than my stinking neighbor does, like I say, to tell me to wash my windows. I'm going to tell you, kiss my rosy red butt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so who died and left you king? It's just like a revenue generation agent on the street. I want to see his bond. I want to see his boss's bond, and we're going to have a bonfire. Anyways, I get excited. But hey, Michelle, hang loose for a second. I'm going to let another call through, and
sure.
Let's take 804 if you're there. Deatra, let him on through for a question or whatever.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Hugh. I'm calling from Virginia.
Hey, brother. Yeah, you on the land of Virginia too? Well, hey, we're kissing cousins or something.
Oh, I'm standing in my truth, and somehow a spirit driven to be where I currently am in Ashland, Virginia, which bills itself the center of the universe. I'm self-proclaimed Hugh, the heartbeat of America, and I'm a Vietnam-era veteran, and Ashland sits in Hanover County, where Patrick Henry grew up, who said, I regret that I have but one life to give to my country, and I feel the same way all these years later, and until I take my last breath, I'm looking to get this country back on track, bring God back into America, and to shine the light wherever it needs to be shined to root out the corruption, which is a global thing. It's not just this country. The global elites have taken over America, but they're defeated already, and now it's just a question of keeping the people from going into a rage when they see how they've been manipulated. But I have the answers for that too, and I would love to speak with you off air and make you aware of my business partner, who's a former Special Ops Green Beret from the Vietnam War, who did the suicide missions behind enemy lines that not too many people came back from. But we have some very powerful business strategies that we're just rolling out that will enrich people and take it away from the elites and shine the light on the corruption at the same time.
Well, that's excellent, brother. What's your first name? Hugh, H-U-G-H?
Yes, I'd like to share my full name because there's interviews I've done.
No, we don't need. Hey, brother. Hey, matter of fact, that's not your last name. That's the state's last name. To the estate. Anyways, hey, hey, I got you, brother. Hey,
well,
matter of fact, I want you to. Okay. Matter of fact, my producer's already posted with me, so I will buzz you after the call.
Oh, wonderful.
So, brother,
I give it on other shows and things too because I'm not afraid. I've had UFO, paranormal, and near-death experiences, and this is a spiritual thing that we're on. It's when we let go and let God, that's when we let go of the fear because whatever I can't handle, I put in the hands of God, and people have died who have messed with me. And part of the reason I wanted to give my full name was I exposed the former federal government bureaucrat via a front-page Wall Street Journal article back in 1983, who I believe was a CIA operative, and indirectly it eventually led to the resignation of Jim Wright from Speaker of the House in shame.
Yep.
So that's one person.
Beautiful.
Imagine what a few people coming together can do.
Oh, yeah. Well, brother, hey, you know what? You're in the right room. This is in the spirit of things, and when I say it's in the spirit of things, I really mean it because this is where my heart lives, this is where my soul lives, and I love it. This has been the best show I've ever had because I've got people with like mind. This is what I'm looking for, is those that really get it. And you know what? We are the collective, unified parties that come together and share the love so that we can bring others to sort of get in lockstep with what we speak of. So, you know what, when you get the mind right and the heart right, everything else sort of falls into place. So, you know what, you just came to the nucleus and you're in the right door. And I'm happy you're here.
You mentioned the magic word, because when you go into the paradigm that you're speaking about, then you don't do the war anymore, because it is love. Since the beginning, it's been all control, conquer, and divide. But if we can go to that place of unconditional love for our future, it will be fantastic.
Hey, brother, I've been talking about the paradigm shift for months now. Yeah, the love bomb has been coming through my door, and I'm trying to put it out there. I'm throwing it out to the universe so they can get it, because I said this year is going to be a year of change. It's going to be a paradigm shift for the masses, because that's where I live. That's why I invite everybody over to my house at my website, because it's free. The information's, the education's, for the most part, all that stuff's free, because until you understand, until you can change in between the ears and get your mind, heart, and spirit right, you're devoid. In other words, you can't come to ground. We talk about the electromagnetic flow and stuff here. So, you know what? You came into the right door, and I'm really appreciative.
Oh, I am too. I let Spirit lead me, and this is where I wound up tonight. And I love Michelle's background, and I'm looking to empower women globally as well as indigenous peoples. And what I tell people too, and this could be helpful as people awaken. If you don't know how to meditate or do anything else, just get out into nature, because that's God's classroom. And if you can just look at the beautiful flowers and the trees and the clouds in the sky and listen to the birds and watch the animals, your blood pressure will go down and you'll start having a heightened awareness. Now, I am a senior citizen and disabled, basically, but I walk around an independent apartment building for exercise. And earlier this year, back in the summer, when I finish walking, I sit and just relax on a bench enjoying nature, and out of nowhere a butterfly came and landed 3 feet in front of me. It was brown with orange and white markings, and it stayed there for about 20 minutes, periodically opening and closing its wings, and I was trying to figure out who's going to leave first, me or the butterfly. Well, the butterfly did move about another 3 feet and landed on top of a dandelion and then opened its wings and left them open. That's when I started getting a message, and that was when things get a little rough or we tend to be afraid of something, we close off and go into a shell. And if we just will, like the butterfly, open up and let go and let God when we can't handle things, how beautiful life can really be. When I got up to walk away, I noticed my Bermuda shorts were brown with orange and white markings, the same colors as the butterfly.
Oh, did you sit on the butterfly, you?
No.
Well, hey, if the colors match, I mean, if the shoe fits, brother, you had me worried there for a minute.
Well, that's the key. That's what people have to see, It's all around us, and you can either look at it and be scared. I have a friend who's constantly telling me it's all over. I said, what are you doing here? It's all over. Why are you here?
Man, hey, I ain't buying the fear porn. Well, hey, brother, I'm gonna go on to the next caller. Hang loose. I'll catch up with you after this call, after 9. And thank you very much for coming in this front door. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm going to go on to the next caller, and I'll catch up with you in a few, Brother Hugh. Folks, I have a area code 508. Your mic is open. You just give your first name. It's fine. All right. 508, your mic is open. Hello? Anyways, I guess go on to the next one, Deatra, if there is one. Okay. 484, your mic is open.
Didn't tell him. I don't understand. So anyway, they cut the show off and gave him another hour later on in the day, and I don't even know.
Hello? Next? Okay. Guess that was whatever. Sorry, folks. Anyways, just trying to get some continuity of flow again. Anyways, Deatra, if you have any more, let the next one through, I guess, for a moment. Okay. All right, yeah, that's good. Well, hey, folks, you know what? This has been a great call. I started out a little perplexed, a little frustrated, but not because I don't care. That's my issue. I do care, and that's why I try and bring issues of the day forward, not to scare you, but to give you some direction of flow so that you can move through these so-called little, for lack of a better term, I guess, roadblocks that we get. So, I'm trying to lead the way through the roadblocks. I have my flares, and I'm going to bring the light, and that's what I'm trying to do. Anyways, Michelle, I really, really do appreciate you coming on tonight because, like I say, you gave the show a whole new direction of flow.
Oh, thank you so much. I was something occurred to me when I was listening to Hugh telling his story about watching the butterfly, and then realizing that his shorts were the same color. So, in other words, he recognized the pattern, and my sense is that if we're open, we all recognize our specific patterns. There's this guy called Amit Goswami, and he won, I'm pretty sure he won a Nobel Prize for physics. I think he's a theoretical quantum physicist. And he actually wrote a book on spirituality. I got through, I think, the first chapter before I had to give it up. But he had this great way of explaining it in a very sort of left-brained, very highly educated sort of, okay, this is what it is kind of way. He explained that there's upward causation. In other words, that's the person seeking. And there's downward causation. That is whatever you want to call it. Call it the Great Spirit, Source, God, whatever. So if there is not upward causation, then there will be no downward causation for that person. In other words, I don't know how to put it in electrical terms, but I guess you won't have a current. You won't have contact, literally. So
right.
It just
so it's an
means
open-ended source, and it can't go to ground ever.
There you go. And there are some people, I would say most people, who aren't at that stage. But those of us who are sort of in a state of upward causation or asking questions, gathering information, eating better, turning off the TV, just seeking, trying to find out what our purpose is here, what is our mission, those people, they will have their downward causation. They will have things going to ground. It's just, my sense is that the conditions have to be right, And I think each person has something very, very specific to contribute. For that person who is a quantum physicist and who knows the language of mathematics and physics, well, his causation will be expressed through that vehicle of mathematics and physics. For that person, I don't know, who's very manual, perhaps that causation will come through that person as healing. Maybe a massage therapist or Reiki or something like that. In other words, we all have different skills and abilities and experiences that make us unique. We're all precious snowflakes. As hackneyed as the expression is, we are all precious snowflakes, and we are told that we are not, and that cannot be further from the truth. And it's important that we just remember that we're precious, and that there can be no other person who can be Peter, or who can be John, or Hugh, or me.
Yep. That's beautiful.
I don't want to be homogenized.
No.
I don't want to be like everybody else, And
right.
I think part of just that makes me different from most people who are trying to look like a specific way that the magazines and the media tell us to look. which gives us all kinds of complexes and get us obsessed about body, physical. Well, I'm not just body, and physical. I am so many more dimensions, and I'm still exploring all those things. You know, the body is just...
You have a physical vessel, but emotionally and spiritually, we are all totally different. I have 3 cats, and they all have 3 different body types, and they all have 3 different personalities. I'm just using the analogy, but it's like my children. They are diversely, everyone, they broke the mold when they finished you. They broke the mold when they finished me. I love being special. Matter of fact, I have this friend up in New York, and I tell her how special she is, because you know what? There's nobody like that one, because and that's what makes the community and the unity and the tie-ins for this collective to be so beautiful. Because hell, if we were all exactly the same, it'd be boring as hell. But that's what they want to do, is homogenize us, not have us think outside the box, fit in. Well, let's put it this way: I've always been the square peg in the round hole, and I love it. Even in the military, I was the square peg in the round hole.
Too, we're more than special. We are the absolute perfect image of ourselves. You know what I mean? There's no one more perfect at being Peter than Peter. There's no one more perfect at being Michelle than Michelle. You know, we are perfect. We are perfectly who we are. We are perfectly where we need to be when we need to be there. And that's what we have to really remember. We are each the center of our universe.
Right. Well, here. Okay, now, and let me share this for 1 second, John. It's like when you get married, you have your significant other wanting to change everything. Hey, what the hell did you marry me for? You know, I thought I was special, and now you want to change my ass. What the hell is that about? You know, hey, come on, folks, let's think about this for a second. You know what? What you see is what you got, and you bought it lock, stock, and barrel, and now you want to change it? No, we ain't going there. You ask my wife, folks, I'm telling you, 28 years in the mix, and I've made this girl crazy, but you know what? She loves me just the same because I am different. You bought me that way, but you're not going to change me. See, because if I have to change to fit in your paradigm, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, of course, everybody's got traits that not everybody likes, but yeah, you know, you can work on those. But I'm saying the substance of the heart, the substance of the soul, where you live, that's supposed to never change. And we get these significant others that want to change shit all the time. And folks, I'm just sorry, you know, my wife's been trying to change me for 28 years with no success whatsoever, because I'm the thorn in her ass that won't go away. Hey, she's a sweet, sensitive Louisiana girl, and I'm a friggin' damn Yankee. I came down and I stayed. So, yeah, you should see me with her family members. I am the guy. I've never been accused of being the shy, quiet type. Gee, go figure. But, folks, they love me anyways because I'm special in my own right, and they don't try to change me neither. So I'm telling Nina, if you're your sister and your brother-in-law and all these other people, they don't try to change me. What the hell are you trying to do? So, anyways, here it is 28 years later. I'm still trying to give her the memo. You got to love it, folks. But that's the beauty of I'm not.
Don't
she knows
change.
I'm not. Yeah, I said, if you don't like it, there's, you know where Louisiana is. You can go back. You know, it's like I'm not trying to kick her out. I'm just saying, you know what? I'm not. I am who I am. And I love, you know, the fact that I can stand on who I am. There's nobody other than Peter Matter of fact, Karina had the capacity to say, "Thank goodness one Peter is enough." Isn't that special? In the Skype room. Now,
the proof is
that can
there,
be taken out of context. What's that?
Sorry, I was going to say the proof is there, Peter. She's still there, so you got her consent. I want to share a story with you about consent, and somebody told me I couldn't do something, and I went ahead and did it. I decided that it was very important for me about 2 years ago to come clean with the contracts that I had somehow gotten involved with and in without my consent, without full disclosure, and all the other considerations involved in a contract. And we're talking about everything. And I decided, I had a friend. He was my witness. And the first aspect of what I said, I had to make a declaration to the universe. It was mostly for myself, which I guess is the universe. I said, okay, any contract that I got into without my full disclosure, I break. It doesn't apply. The second thing was I asked forgiveness for everybody that I had harmed or lied to or stolen from or cheated with or damaged in any way. The third part was I asked, so I forgave all of those people who had done those same things to me, who had lied to me, cheated me, stolen from me, or damaged me in any way. And the last aspect, the last thing was I stated, I thanked karma, and I said I wouldn't be needing it anymore. And my friend piped up and said, "You can't do that." And I said, "I'm doing it." And I thanked karma, which goes hand in hand with suffering, for having been such an excellent teacher to me. And that I would now be looking to other aspects, nicer energy forms, to be my new teachers and to show me my path and to bring me to wholeness, however you want to say it. And for me, that was my declaration. It was my vow break. And so far, so good. But it just seems that it was very important for me not to be fighting, not to be doing all kinds of papers and court things and
That's right.
But to get it straight, to get it just declared on this, I guess we can call it the spiritual, and then to follow through with, I guess, the fallout. So, I did get, I was cordially invited by Canada Revenue Agency. I got a second notice at the end of January asking me to file a return, and I'm still sort of tinkering with that, how to go about that in the most gentle but firm way. And I don't think I'm going to be fighting them. In fact, I know I'm not going to be fighting them. I do not know their system or their language, and I don't want to be an expert at their system or their language. For me, it's all falsehood. It's all lies and treachery and deceit. So I'm still working on that.
Well, hey, we're down to the last minute. Hey, Michelle, you know what? You get it. See, because the warring thing, folks, and Michael and I, this is what we teach over at Private, is not me. We're not in the war mode. We're going to love. We're going to harmony. We're going to peace. This is where we live, and we're trying to teach this. So this is really, it's incredible that we end this on a high note and you sharing this because that's where we're at. Boy, I'll tell you, sweetheart, I got your number posted. My door is open to you. You are in my nucleus, and let me get a hold of Hugh quick, if you don't mind. I'll, if I can buzz you after the fact. Let's get together. I want to talk to you further.
Sure, love that. Thank you.
All right, hey folks, thank you for coming to In the Spirit of Things, and sorry for my rants, and we love you, and we hope to see you Saturday, and we're going to share some more love. Hey folks, I just want to bring the love bomb. I want everybody to get gooey with the love bomb. It's going to be, I got marshmallows aplenty. So folks, Brother John, I'm sorry I put you on the back burner like this, but
great time,
Brother John
great
sort of
time.
You helped me do the heavy lifting, Brother John. He keeps me in continuity of flow, because I really hate carrying 2 hours by myself, because I know nobody wants to hear Peter banter for 2 hours straight. I don't even want to hear me banter for 2 hours straight. So, folks, with that, we love you, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Hey, in the spirit of things, folks, we love you, we care, and we'll see you back on Saturday night. Thank you, folks. Have a great night. Bye-bye.